Hello, visionary, and welcome to our channel. This is Raquel of Raquel and Davidian Unleash Your Genius. And in this video, we're going to be talking about projectors, career, calling, and making money. So if you're a projector like I am, you know that one of the things we struggle with is figuring out how to make a living, doing something we love that isn't going to drain us or take us out of our joy or burn us out. Most of you've probably had some type of experience of burnout, and you've probably all been in experiences that have been either painful, people stole your ideas, or that you were overworked. And so this is what we're going to be talking about, and let's go ahead and get into the intel. This video is human design, projector, career, calling, and making money. Projectors can be rich too. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. That's a free way to help us out and help us to create great content, answer all of your questions, and also continue to support your journey in discovering who you are and unleashing your genius. Also, if you could like this video and ring the bell, it'll assure that you will be informed when we have our next video. We also answer questions in the comments, so please comment below and we will make sure to get back to you. This training is designed specifically for projectors. However, anyone who knows a projector, who has a projector child, family member, client, coworker, this will benefit you as well. So if you need some background on living as a projector, there are a couple other videos you might like to dive into as well. I have a live training for projectors, and I will put a link here. And we also have the Projector Basics and differences in Projector Aura Type. So there are different types of projectors: mental projectors, splenic projectors, self-projected projectors, ego projectors. There's a lot of different types of projectors, and each aura type is very, very different. And so even though we're all in the subcategory of projectors, we do operate very, very uniquely. And so that video will help you as well. So let's dive in. Pull out your chart. If you don't have your free chart, you can get it in the notes below. And remember that there are different types of projectors, and they're all very, 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 very different. But the one thing we have in common is, you'll notice here this square that I talk about in the other videos. This is called your sacral. This will be white for all projectors. Actually, if you're a manifestor reflector, it's going to be white for you as well. But that's what the common factor is. So what this means is that the sacral, when it's defined or colored in, it's all about the fuel to work. It is the life force energy, and it's regenerative, meaning that after a long day at work, or after you've been, running around taking care of the kids and working and or playing, you can go to bed and wake up in the morning and feel rested and ready to start another long day. However, if you are a projector, you may not feel any of those things, meaning you may not feel rested, you may not feel ready to start another long day. So without the fuel to work, how the heck do you make money? Well, that's what this video is all about, and that is exactly what we're going to dive into. You'll notice below that I have listed some of the things for Projector Basics, but this is in my other video. So I just wanted to let you guys know that if you need that support, the basics on the projector, you can get that there. And you want to do that before you dive into the career intel. So I just wanted to start with a little of my own story about my career. It's such a great example of a 5-1 projector. Wow. Now, you guys may feel this way too when you look back at your past and you look at your careers, and you'll think, oh my God, yes, absolutely. That is such a great example of a projector. So For me, this was right out of college. You can tell it's pretty, what you do in your 20s. I created a performance band. We're a multimedia performance group. And this was my first business. We owned our own studio. We ran events. We did a lot of shows. We were in theaters. And it was incredibly fun. But as a projector, this was a lot of energy, and I did not have the energy to maintain it. And also, I was a 5'1". So everything, the entire group, you can tell there was a lot of drama here and young people and egos when you get really successful and popular in a very short amount of time. All was projected upon me as a 5'1". You guys know about this. If not, let me know and I'll do another video just on being a 5'1" because it's worth it. But however, I was also a projector. So even though I started the group, I was not recognized as the founder of the group by the individuals because I pushed and I created it through initiation. And I was never recognized. There were times, there's a couple books written and there's a couple of TV interviews and such where I was recognized as the founder because it's in my name and it was my business. However, amongst the people, I was not fully recognized. And so this was a great example of not being recognized ever and then getting knocked down from the pedestal and pushed out of the community. And really the work was taken over by the group, and it was incredibly painful and drama filled, which happens in your 20s. But also when you're looking at it non-emotionally and just as the aura mechanics, it's a perfect example of how this projector 5'1" operates. And then I climbed the corporate ladder. This corporate career was perfect for me in a lot of ways. I worked from home. It was natural. It didn't use a lot of my energy. I was invited in, and it worked really well for a while until it wasn't correct for me anymore. Invitations don't last forever. So you may be invited, same thing happened with my house. I was invited to live there, but then I bought this house and the HOA was unhappy when I started doing an Airbnb out of it. And the invitation ended, and it was incredibly excruciating. So invitations don't last forever, so be aware of that. You may have been invited into a career and it goes great, and then all of a sudden you can feel you're not being recognized anymore and the invitation ends. And so this is what happened to me as I was climbing the corporate ladder. Even though I was working from home, it was time to leave. And so I decided to buy a brick and mortar raw vegan juice bar for passive income while I decided to launch my online business because I had the fear of the past, the fear of the future. If you want to know about fears, then check out my video on the fear gate. I'll put a link to the video on the fear gates and one in the notes below as well, because that was a huge key for me of understanding why I was so afraid to leave my corporate career. And so this idea of having this passive income with a brick and mortar is not a good one for a projector. I definitely there was no invitation. I was pushing, initiating, but I had always done that because we're all conditioned to initiate, to take action, make things happen, just do it. That is the way of the world. And we are taught to go out and make things happen. And I had success doing that. However, it was hit or miss, and there was a lot of burnout. And as you can see, there was also a lot of drama. And yet I had no idea that this is what was going on, And so at this time, when I started this brick and mortar business, I had invested my entire life savings. And basically, I almost lost everything in the process while I was pushing, having fear, too afraid to really live my purpose. And it led to complete breakdown. The difference was, at this time, I was introduced by Davidian to human design. I was told I was a projector. So I knew I was a projector, even though I had no idea what that meant. That thought just kind of plagued me while I was like, why can't I do this? This is crazy. And I just in one moment decided that I was going to let go of the entire business and follow living as a projector and let go of everything. And so, luckily, at the 11th hour, I was able to sell the business and recoup some of the investment. And so it gave me time and space to really study this stuff. But I took a year off to really understand what I was doing wrong and why I was in so much chaos and so much pain and so burned out, and just really not knowing how to live correctly, how to have a career that felt correct for me, right? And so the idea of being a projector completely plagued me until I decided to take on the experiment. And that is scary as fuck. Am I allowed to swear on YouTube? I don't know. Anyways, it's very scary. And so if any of you are wondering, am I willing to do this? The answer is, if you're listening to this video, you really have no other choice, because you've already been exposed. You're already listening to this. You already know you're a projector, right? And so at that point, you're going to be bitter. You're going to get burned out. You're going to be in pain until you really decide, all right, I'm going to take on the experiment and see how it works. You can also look back in your life and go, okay, that's an example of when I was invited and it worked and it was easy. And here's an example of where I initiated and it was incredibly excruciating. And so if you guys have any stories like that, share with the community in the comments. I love hearing projector stories. So please, please let me know what you think, because this was so scary for me. It was like, okay, even that year I took off, right? I had already quit corporate. I'd tried to do this brick and mortar business. Yeah, I may have recouped some of my savings, but I still didn't have an income. And so I was like, well, the idea of waiting for the invitation, that's kind of a cool idea, but I need to make money and have a career. So I'll think about it, but I'm going to start moving on my business anyway. And I did that many, many times until I got the lesson, got slammed, got bitter, and over and over and over again, it was clear to me that I needed to learn how to wait. And so once you do that, and once you take on the experiment, the career, the calling, and making money, it is not a linear process. There was no way I could have told you how my business was going to get to the place where it is now, which is I wake up on my own time in my own space. I have my own process to living. And I work with the most amazing clients, and I only do what I love, and I make a ton of money, way more than I made in corporate. And I am just blessed, and everything is flowing. I should knock on wood as I say this, because you never know how things are going to turn out, but from day to day as an entrepreneur. But the more I surrender to the joy and really loving what I'm doing, and the more I surrender to my life, loving it, and resting when I need to, not overworking, not over pushing, not saying like, oh, I need to make more money, so I'm going to hustle more. No. But it wasn't linear, and it wasn't A plus B. And even though I did invest in a lot of coaching and a lot of different, obviously got several certifications in human design and human design business and all of this, I had no idea that I was going to be teaching human design. That was not something I was expecting. I knew business. I knew I was spiritual. I knew I had a lot to say. And so my first initial, taking a walk and showing my genius after mastering systems was really about, spiritual business. And everyone kept saying, yeah, but I want to know about my design. I want to know about my chart. I want to know about this. And so everyone kept asking me, which is a sign that I'm being invited and recognized for my knowledge as, a human design teacher. And so this is how my career in this direction began. And yes, I still do a lot of spiritual business. I still teach a lot of business tools. And that's partly why I wanted to do this video, is to really help projectors understand how to find business and career and jobs that are in alignment for them, because it's so torturous when they're doing something that is not in alignment for them. That as projectors, we know we're not really designed to work in the traditional way. We are, taking on the experiment, which means that you're going to say yes to waiting for the invitation, right? You're going to say yes to waiting and to making sure that you're not tired, to making sure that you're recognized, to making sure that you master your systems. What do you do after that? What is waiting for the invitation? Okay, great. I'll take on the experiment, but what is waiting for the invitation? And what if there are no invitations? What if I have no money and I have to pay my bills and I have no energy? So now what do I do? Can you relate? Because that's what I see with a lot of projectors. They're burned out, they don't have the energy, and it's like they don't really have the time to wait for the invitation. And so what I want to do right now in this moment, anyone who's listening to this, I want you to know that you have what it takes to live as a projector if you are a projector. And what that means is that you need to move into a deep, deep state of trust, deep state of faith that this is correct for your alignment. And I can't give that to you. I can't tell you. You have to find that inside your body where you really commit to finding a new way of being. And I promise you that if you follow this, then you will align to what feels correct for you if you begin to master systems, really learn the art of waiting, being in your joy, and wait for that recognition, and then let that turn you on and turn your energy on. And so I'm sending you guys all of this powerful energy to trust, because the question I get so often is, what on earth do I do while I'm waiting for the right invitation? What's the right career? What's the right fit? Because the invitation is not really a stamped letter. Now, I've heard stories of people actually getting a stamped letter, and so it's possible. I've heard stories of people waiting on their couch doing nothing but studying or getting certified or stretching or doing the things that they love, mastering their systems, and then someone knocks on the door and invites them to, different types of things. I have heard that. But let's dive in if the knock on the door is not going to come and the stamped envelope isn't arriving. So let's explore this. So if you're tired, you won't be able to get anything done. We all know this. If you let yourself rest, yes, really, really allow yourself downtime without judgment. Okay, so that means that if you're tired, you allow yourself without the judgment of, I need to do this, I need to get moving. You really let yourself sleep and rest. You can get a 12-hour day done in 3 hours, and you can. Wink. Now, when I was in corporate, I worked from home, as I said, and I know people were working 12 hours a day, and I hope nobody ever hears this who was in my corporate career, but I would literally do what it took them. I would do it in 3 hours. I would get everything done. I had all these little hacks and tricks on how to do it, and it's true with my business as well. So here are some questions to ask. Is this career or job letting me work in a way that feels good for my energy? Am I in my joy? Am I burned out? Do people recognize me? So when I was in corporate, they recognized me that I was good at that particular job. But in my design, I have spiritual awakening. I have, the priestess, the shaman, and I have things that were not being seen, and I knew it. I knew they didn't see that part of me, right? And so if you're not being recognized and you have things that you're keeping hidden from your coworkers or your boss or even your clients or even in your business, if you're not saying all the things or your clients aren't seeing all of your gifts, then it's possible that you haven't fully allowed yourself to be recognized in order to really get turned on. Because once you're recognized, you have a lot more energy. It actually is like getting plugged into the circuit, and all of a sudden it's like the toaster wasn't plugged in, and then all of a sudden it heats up because you're plugged in. That's what recognition does for a projector. So the question is also, have you mastered a system? Because if you're not being recognized, you're being burned out, and you're not in your joy, you might need to go back and master something that you love, something that brings you joy. And I promise if you spend the time doing that, it's going to really benefit you. Are you paid enough to work less than others doing the exact same position? So in other words, you need to be more of a leader. You need to be more efficient. And so you need to make more money and work less amount of time. Okay, so an invitation feels like someone gets you, and the more you study your design, the more you'll understand if someone recognizes you, meaning like they get your channels and they get other aspects of your chart. That's the right invitation, you know, because I do have plenty of people that invite me to do things. I know they're still not recognizing me. So you want to be able to feel the difference in that. So they will want to know more about what you offer. So in other words, then you want to start looking out for what are people asking of you? What kind of things do they want from you? They're going to look to you for guidance, and they're going to honor your words, and they're going to ask you questions. And this is a great indication that you are being seen. And then you'll begin to feel energized and turned on, and you might have more energy, enthusiasm, and excitement. So some things to look at if you're changing careers or jobs is what questions do people around you ask you, meaning what insights do you help people with? If you could wake up in the morning and do anything you want, what would it be? And what area do you feel you've mastered? So all of these are really important questions. And if you wake up and there are things you really want to do that you're not doing, give yourself some time during the day in order to do that. So in other words, if you're in a job, but you really want to study something else or do something else, at least give yourself an hour a day to be doing what you really love. Now I want you guys to get a little bit practical. Is there any way you can do less and get paid more? For example, become a consultant in a field that you already know. Can you increase your rates, in other words? Do you feel motivated to start your own business? Often as a projector, you might need the generator fuel for this, but if this is something you want to do and you follow your strategy and your inner authority based on your uniqueness, remember, we're all unique, the projectors, usually people come in to support you. So you want to really explore your strategy and authority. Is there something you want to learn or master? And can you take better care of your energy? So this is a big one I haven't mentioned yet. But as projectors, we really need to be healthy, because when you have less energy in your aura mechanics, you need to have more energy in your health. Your health system needs to be peak and vital and at your very, very highest compared to everyone else. So this is a huge, important key for everyone that I work with. So as a projector, when you're talking the business aspect, which is often known as BG5, the human design business aspect, the projector is actually the leader, the alpha. We are here to run businesses as the alpha. We are here to lead, to guide, to direct. And so when I first started human design, everyone's like, no, projectors aren't really here to work. They're here to be enjoy and to play, or not work in a traditional way. Well, the truth is we are here to be business leaders, and we are here to work in business. It's just that we need to work less time and be masterful. So think of things like coaches, consultants, directors, managers, leaders, business owners. And so what I want you to do right now is brainstorm in the field or the area that you love, that you're inspired to lead in, because that is what we are meant to do. And this is going to come down the pike more and more in the next 10 years as people are melting down, and the 2027 and mutation is happening. This is another video I have on the 2027 mutation, which is coming down the pike, which you guys might want to check out. I'll put it in the notes below as well. You need to know about the 2027 mutation coming is that projectors are the leaders of this. And we are here to help generators and help them use their energy properly, not by telling them what to do, but by waiting for the invitation and guiding appropriately with our wisdom and insights by asking questions and helping people really utilize their energy properly. Imagine the healing on the planet when people aren't just throwing around their energy doing things they hate, and running around in chaos and pushing and frustrated. And so this is what we're here to do, and that's why this intel is so important. There are a couple of areas I think are a necessity for projector career success, even if you don't really see this discussed in human design. And as you guys know, I have a lot of different types of degrees. I have my master's in spiritual psychology. I've studied with shamans my whole life. And so I believe in integrating all of these tools. And as I mentioned before, your health is really, really important. Check in with your body. Are you really taking care of yourself? Superfoods, eating raw foods, eating high vibe foods. Also understanding that you are frequency and your thoughts have power. This is really important because while you're waiting for your invitation, you need to be vibrating at your highest frequency of trust and faith, and knowing that if you are in your story, if your mind is creating a story about waiting, like, oh, I'm lazy, or oh, shoot, I'm a projector, and you get real whiny, it pulls your energy down and it takes you out of the vibrancy and the beauty and the frequency that you're here to emit. By being in your abundance and knowing that you are infinite intelligence and that you are designed to live as a projector, meaning you're designed to work less and make more money. You are allowed to be rich. I see a lot of people talking about human design and saying, like, oh, projectors aren't here to make as much money. No, that is not true. It is everyone's birthright to be in abundance. And yet you need to, even though you may have had a lot of pain in the past not being able to keep up, you do need to become present in your current energy field, be in the moment, and allow yourself to feel the frequency of abundance. And just doing this alone will bring in the invitations. And then healing the wounding of the past. We've been wounded as projectors. We take on the chaos and the pollution of the environment we're in. It's like a straw and we're sucking it in. And if you've had any chaos in your families or any type of toxic relationships, you have taken that on more than most people do. Even when people say they're empathic or they have an undefined emotional center, the projector takes it on to the point where it just completely bulldozes them. So you might need to do a little bit of healing so that you can get present in this moment and really be in a high vibration and healed and healthy so that you have the power to wait for the invitation. So if you're in great health physically, emotionally, and spiritually, the invitations will show it themselves much more easily. So I know this sucks, but you need to slow it down. There is no other way. Have faith in the process, but be practical. Save some money, cut back on expenses, be smart while you explore or shift careers. If you're not seen or recognized or something is not coming towards you, this is a good sign that the person is not correct for you. This is a form of divine magic. You are being sheltered from the wrong energies. So allowing yourself to be seen for your uniqueness. The right recognition will come when you align and continue to master systems. So I want you guys to know that I see your magic as a projector. I see that you have so much to give and offer the world. And in the meantime, dig into your design, learn about the other, discover what you're here to be known for, which are your channels. The perfect aligned career, business, job, and life that inspires you and doesn't drain you is what you are designed to live. So if you believe that, it will come. You are not here to suffer. Stay tuned for our next video, and please leave the questions below. I will answer them in the next video if they're a great question. And we're going to be doing some human design business and finding out whether you're actually designed for solopreneurship, partnerships, small businesses, or large companies. This is going to be one of the next videos coming out. So if you have any questions about that, please put them in the comments below. Please go ahead and like this video if you have been inspired or you've gotten any aha moments. It's a free way to support the channel. And please comment below. I cannot wait to hear what type of projector you are. Thanks again for tuning in. I heart you guys. and we're going to be putting out a lot more content. So please let us know what kind of information you need, and I'll see you in the next video.